Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Travis.
Well, football is officially back as there was a huge game, great game between the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs, where the Chiefs surprisingly came out on top and really dominated the Patriots in the second half to pull away to a 42-27 victory. Travis, what are your quick takeaways for this game?
Yeah, one of my quick takeaways is Spencer Ware who? Everyone's thinking after he went down for the season, you have rookie running back Kareem Hunt, and in his NFL debut, it started off really rocky. On his first touch, he fumbled. That is something he's never done in college. And then, he was able to shake it off. He ended up living up to the hype by repeatedly gashing the Patriots offense. He had 17 carries for 148 yards and one rushing touchdown. He also had 5 catches for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 78-yard strike. I mean, this rookie, he just flashed several big plays, as he also had a 58-yard run in the fourth quarter to kind of kill out the clock. I mean, he had 239 all-purpose yards. He ended up breaking the record for the most yards by a rookie in his debut since the 1970 merger. Man, can this kid play?
Yeah, it's actually funny that you mentioned that. He never lost a fumble in his entire college career. I mean, only one time did he fumble in college, and he recovered his own fumble. So it's kind of crazy to think about how on the first carry of his entire career, he fumbles it on the first carry. Um, but everything that happened after that was huge. I mean, who would have thought that, with Spencer Ware going out, that this kid would just go out there and just with the sprite lights, he would just dominate a Patriots defense that is consistently one of the better defenses in the league, coached by one of the best defensive coaches in the league, in Bill Belichick. I mean, Chiefs fans got to be excited for what they have here. They're kind of looking for that guy since Jamal Charles to kind of be their workhorse type of back. And, this could really this kid can be really special for them. Andy Reid has this knack for finding these guys late in these drafts to kind of, get some production out of the running game. And he does it again with Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, what else can I say besides what a great game? The kid balled out. What a way to start your NFL career by breaking a record. I mean, that's just awesome.
Yeah, well, going to the Patriots side of things, they had some struggles in the passing game. As Julian Edelman, I think his presence, his loss for the year might be a little bit more of a big deal than we thought initially going into it, because it seemed like the Patriots can just replace guys. And they also lost the other receiver, Malcolm Mitchell, to a torn ACL or to season-ending injury.
Yeah, I saw they placed him on the IR, and a lot of people they saw, they brought in Brandon Cooks, and when Julian Edelman went down, everyone expected that, it wouldn't be too big of a loss. But if you were watching the game, the Patriots, they just did not look in order on offense. I want to point out a stat. On third down, they ended up going 5 for 15, which is just not good. And that's really where Edelman does his most damage. Him and Brady have a really good connection. And I think this loss is going to hurt more than people expected before.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic for the Patriots to be so bad on those third down conversions, especially with a guy like Tom Brady as their quarterback, who's the best quarterback ever. But, he does have some history with struggling against the Chiefs' defense over the past few seasons in the regular season. So it's kind of not too surprising that he would struggle. Fun fact, the Patriots, the last 4 times that they've lost a season opener, have gone on to win the Super Bowl that season. So obviously we're going to be making this a big deal for now, but history shows that the Patriots know how to bounce back from these type of things. So I think they'll figure out as the season progresses. Like we said, they signed Brandon Cooks or traded for Brandon Cooks in the offseason. So I think eventually once they get their chemistry there with Tom Brady, they'll be fine. I think having Rob Gronkowski healthy obviously helps, but I think this is a case of the Chiefs just have a great defense. I got to give a lot of credit to them for what they did shutting down that passing game.
Yeah, and another takeaway from the Thursday night game is Justin Houston is back. I mean, after only playing 5 games due to injury last year, there was lots of questions if Houston could return to his 2014 All-Pro level where, he only recorded 22 sacks. I mean, this guy, they gave him a big contract. They expected him to be this premier edge rusher, and he answered those questions under the bright lights. He was able to get to the quarterback numerous times. He was able to end up finishing with 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and he just looked like the all-pro level he was playing at 2014. It was really great to see that again.
Yeah, if Justin Houston can continue to play at this level, I mean, watch out because they have D Ford on the other side, and those two together can be a lethal combination for the Kansas City Chiefs going forward. But kind of moving on from that, we talk about Brandon Cooks coming into the Patriots this season. He actually had himself a pretty good game. He had about 88 yards, I believe, receiving. This one had a big 54-yard completion, which was kind of the thing he was hyped up to be, that deep ball threat that they kind of haven't had in a while since Randy Moss. So in his first debut, I thought Brandon Cooks looked pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good. There was a lot of new players making their debut for the Patriots. And while, only 3 catches for 88 yards while losing Julian Edelman, I thought he was going to have a bigger role. He did have that one big play, but I think as the season continues, they'll continue to develop together. But another new guy that they brought in this year is Mike Gillislee. And man, what a debut did he have for the Patriots. He had 15 carries for 45 yards, but he had 3 rushing touchdowns. And everyone was asking in the offseason, who's going to fill the role that LeGarrette Blount left, having 18 rushing touchdowns? And that question was answered tonight with Gillislee having 3. He rewarded fantasy players who started him. And I could see him, if he keeps this up, having at least 18 touchdowns as well. He did a great job.
Yeah, speaking of fantasy football owners who had him, I started him in a couple of leagues, so faith is being rewarded there. Thank you, Mike Gillislee, for the review.
Yeah.
But moving on, Alex Smith, another big surprise in this game, that Alex Smith looked like #1 overall pick. Alex Smith, as he was hyped coming into the draft, and he was sensational last night. I'm just going over his stats right here. He was 28 for 35, 368 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and had a few long, deep balls they completed. I mean, he was fantastic in this game. Kind of looked a little Aaron Rodgers-esque at times. Those two were drafted in the same draft. So I thought it was a great game for Alex Smith, especially going up against the Patriots defense that, was supposed to have a very good secondary with the signing of Stephen Gilmore in the offseason.
Who just said Alex Smith is a game manager? Man, did he look elite tonight. I mean, he torched the Patriots defense, something we never see. And, in the draft, we saw them trade up to the number 10 pick to draft the future of the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. And Alex Smith just played like, I'm not going anywhere yet. Don't forget about me, guys. This guy played incredible. It was basically a flawless performance by him. It was really good to see that. But I want to touch on real quick another new Patriots guy. He spent big money on Stephon Gilmore, and in his debut, he didn't look like he lived up to the contract. Yes, it's only one game, but there was a play where he's beat deep by Tyreek Hill, and it was on a 75-yard touchdown, and for whatever reason, he just decided not to follow Tyreek Hill up the field. There must have been some sort of miscommunication, but, talking about Tyreek Hill, he also broke a record by becoming the first player in NFL history with a 60-yard touchdown in 5 or more consecutive games. That's incredible. He also recorded his first 100-yard game. So shout out to you, Tyreek Hill. What a performance.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill is one of the most exciting and explosive playmakers in the NFL right now, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do for the rest of the season as really the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver going forward. Kind of touching on the Stephon Gilmore signing, obviously I wasn't a big fan of the signing for the Patriots. I thought they overpaid for him a bit, and it's because of the reason that we saw kind of last night. He has a lot of talent, a lot of physical ability, but we kind of saw last night where sometimes the mental side of the game kind of gets him where, he won't always go through his assignments and just reads perfectly, which kind of leads to big plays for the other team. But it's only one game, like we said. There's a lot of time this NFL season for him to fix that. I think the Patriots will be fine under defense, but speaking of which, this is probably the worst performance we've ever seen on the Belichick era defense. They gave up, I believe, over 523 yards or something like that. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah, looking at this stat, this was the most points they ever gave up in the Brady Belichick era, and no quarterback has ever thrown for more than 300 yards and 4 touchdowns without a pick. Now that just shows how perfect this Brady Belichick era has been. But man, they kind of showed a big kink in their armor tonight. They did not look like the Patriots that we were accustomed to seeing. Yes, it's only week 1, but They had the lead going to the fourth quarter, and the Chiefs, they just put their foot on the gas and ran away with the game. But another key takeaway, the last takeaway of the game for me tonight, is even though the Chiefs played a flawless football game and they were able to come into Foxborough and get the win, their worst fears became true the next day when they found out that safety Eric Berry will be lost for the season. So a torn Achilles tendon. He's going to miss the season, and this is a big loss. They're trying to win a Super Bowl this year. He's their leader of the defense. He's my favorite safety in the NFL. I think he's the best. So shout out to you, Eric Berry. I hope you get healthy. I was really sad to see that. But what's this going to do to the defense for the Chiefs?
Yeah, really sad to see Eric Berry be lost for the season, especially all that he's kind of had to overcome in his life, not just his career, but his life, as a cancer survivor that we're talking about here. So, this isn't the worst thing he's had to overcome. I think he'll come back stronger than ever. But this is a big blow for the Kansas City defense because, like you said, he's the leader of that secondary, leader of that defense, really the heartbeat of this team when you think about it. So to kind of lose him, that's a big blow. But, you got to trust Andy Reid and this coaching staff to kind of pull the troops together and kind of get this thing rolling again. They were still playing well after he left the game, so there's definitely a lot of talent on this team to try and kind of make up for that loss. Obviously, that loss will never be completely filled for the season. But I think with guys like Marcus Peters on defense, Derek Johnson, Justin Houston coming back healthy, Dee Ford, they have a lot of great talented players on that defense to kind of keep it together. And if Alex Smith can continue to play at this pace, their offense can do a lot to kind of help this defense out.
Yeah, I think, looking at Eric Berry, he's got one of the best football minds. So even though he won't be playing on the field, just to have him on the sideline to help the young guys trying to take his spot, I think that will still help them out. But in my opinion, he's the best safety in the NFL, so that's going to hurt a lot losing him.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, that's our thoughts and our takeaways on the Thursday night season opener between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Keep this discussion going, and we're going to have lots more videos coming out soon, so stay tuned.
Yep, thanks guys for watching.